so we're talking about your, excuse me, your leadership project, Unity Through Diversity. And just right off the bat, the main concept I think is excellent because you're involving basically every stakeholder, the community, families, other professionals. So it's not just based on students and teachers.
Nice.
I like the idea of the tree being a concrete representation of these values that everyone is confronted with each day, well, every student and teacher when stepping on campus. And the idea of affirming values is great. I taught at a high school in Arizona that had an honor code, and they asked students to sign, and they would teach all the ninth graders about it. And it was summed up with the phrase, how do you live your life when no one is watching?
Yeah.
And it was, it was something we would talk about. It would be brought up if a student was having an issue or there was a discipline issue.
Yeah.
And some of the kids did not buy in and made fun of it, but a lot of kids took it really seriously and felt proud of it. It was unique in the district.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think, and this value affirmation business is like, it actually has scientific backing. So it's not like, hey, let's sing Kumbaya and let's talk about our values, and it's actually backed up by research and serious places like Stanford graduate business schools are promoting it. So
that's kind of interesting too to hear that business schools are promoting it, given all of the recent scandals and lack of ethics that we've been seeing in these major corporations.
Oh yeah, I mean, hypocrisy will always be hypocrisy. Will always be there, and yes. Of course, you wonder like how honest they are, but of course, yeah.
I like that this assumes that students have values and care about them, because I don't think that everyone thinks that about kids or teenagers. And I like the idea that, again, I think this is a theme for you. You're doing them the courtesy of holding them to high expectations.
Yeah.
I think that it seems like it's at the core of your teaching philosophy. And I think that is really not something that every teacher might feel. Question about the grades going up for minority students. What would that look like, or how does that fit in?
So again, comes from the Stanford article. Let me pull it up to not misquote. Stanford value affirmation essay. So they claim that it's not a silver bullet. So it says several studies in suburban middle schools. The key to greater success was a series of well-timed values affirmation assignments given to African American, Latino American students as a part of the regular classroom curriculum. 7th graders were asked to reflect and write about things. The task was given at critical moments, beginning of the year, prior to tests, or near the holiday season, period of stress for many people with challenging home environments. The results were dramatic. The intervention reduced the racial achievement gap by nearly 30%. African American students who were randomly selected for the creative writing exercise had significantly higher grade point average over 2 years, and those who were not. Those who benefited most were the worst performing students, and the rate of remediation or grade repetition dropped from 18 to 5%. The white students didn't show any significant differences. But I think somewhere they say that it's not, maybe I read this somewhere else, that it was not the only factor why they got higher grades.
Uh-huh.
Somebody was expressing a more of a cautious, position on, oh yeah, use values affirmation. It's a magic wand. I didn't get that impression from another article.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was from a more like a medical oriented. Let's see if that's the one that I was thinking about. There's one. Psychology of change. Let's see. Okay, so the abstract of this other article, also from Stanford,
Mm-hmm.
the Graduate School of Education, Department of Psychology, says that like other interventions, experiences, self-affirmations can have lasting benefits when they touch off a cycle of adaptive potential, a positive feedback loop between the self system and the social system that propagates adaptive outcomes over time. So I think that means that there's got to be a social system that, has a feedback
Mm-hmm.
component. And, so there are other mechanisms in place that will raise the grades rather than just this thing.
And so maybe the idea that since the community is affirming values, the community is also keeping an eye on the
Yeah,
grades.
I think that's what it means. I mean, this is again the abstract, and it's actually not the original article that I saw. But I just found this just really fast online. But yeah, I think from the article that I really wanted to discuss was saying that there got to be other mechanisms that they have to be in place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that one.
I think what I like about this too is, as opposed to something like the National Honor Society, which, for lack of a better word, discriminates, about who gets to be in it. You don't have to be anything. You just have to be a kid at the school.
Exactly.
And it's assumed that your values are important and that you have something to contribute to the conversation, even if you're not on the honor roll or something. I think that's really, really interesting, and I like it.
Yeah, I want all, because I believe that all kids have something unique to give. I don't care if you're white or black but you just gotta affirm. You have to voice those differences that you take pride in,
Mm-hmm.
but also make an effort to create, in the same essay or through this banner, badge or standard, that you actually create that. And I think that effort will make the students think about who they are and maybe adjust some things that put a better step forward. But also to basically celebrate anybody's difference, whatever your skater, white skater who believes in, I don't know, I don't care. I mean, you're still different from me and I find that interesting and realistic.
Yeah, well, and not only do you find it interesting, but what you're saying with this project is that you find it valuable. Like, everyone has something to contribute, and everyone should be recognized for that contribution.
Yeah, because I think people, like, in their own heads, especially young people, but not just young people, I think we're all in our heads and we're kind of like who we are. It sometimes gets very fuzzy,
Mm-hmm.
And until you write it down or you create something and you affirm it in some way, it's not really clear who you are,
Yeah.
Well, and, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
And I think that that's, I think that the essay and the badge creation and the tree are kind of like making concrete, like where you stand,
Mhm.
like who you are, what you believe in, uh, and that's fine, whatever you believe in. I mean, of course, there should be some limits. Like if somebody believes in taking out the school with a
Yeah.
AK-47, you know, that's not cool.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, but if you believe in Second Amendment, whatever,
Yeah, exactly.
fine. Like it is sort of like I mean, I like the kids to believe they're like being knighted, being like in a part of this sort of the special order of knights and protectors of their own school. And some people will say like, well, I like weapons. I mean, again, like it's a bit, I don't feel comfortable with that. I don't have any weapons, but I understand that America is sort of militaristic, but I think
Yeah.
it can work into taking that for a higher purpose,
Hmm.
to protect their school instead of destroying
Hmm.
or fragmenting their school.
Yeah. It's, I think the fragmentation is the key point. And like, I think back to when I was in high school, and you'd see people around for years. You'd go through the same grades together, and you'd be like, well, he's a cowboy, he goes
Mhm.
hunting on the weekends. And then I'm thinking of one guy in particular, and he ended up going to the military. I sat next to him in a class, and I was like, oh, he's nice, and he's smart, and he cares. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I just sort of had pigeonholed him and decided that I knew what I needed to know. And then that personal interaction. And I also love the idea of like these badges or the coat of arms, because it's nonverbal. So you don't have to be worried and go
yeah,
out and say a lot of, maybe controversial things. You can just wear it, and people can look and be like, oh yeah,
yeah,
that's what Emil thinks.
yeah, exactly. I would have like a coffee mug because I like coffee,
Yeah.
or my Romanian flag with a next to the American flag, or some other crazy stuff. I like the arts or whatever, literature.
Mhm.
And I mean, the truth is that we need warriors. We need warriors to
Yeah.
defend the country, because other countries like Russia is a country of warriors, and they're not shy about invading other countries. I'm not saying, hey, let's invade, but we need people to like, hey, I believe in protecting others. I want to become a cop. I want to become a soldier.
Hmm.
We need people to protect others,
Yeah.
and we need people who are thinkers and who care for others, and we need everybody. It just has to be done for a higher purpose, a good purpose of protecting everyone, and in that community. And that's the point. It's not, and so uh, really a key component here is the unity part, is how you also see yourself as being part of a school community. And
Yes. And the protection part of it and the warrior part of it, I love that characterization. And like, so when I was in high school, I would have been protecting the arts and music because I sang in the choir.
yeah.
And you may have I don't know, maybe you played a sport. Like, it, I think that's a really, really interesting way to look at it. And
Mhm.
I think it could be so successful because you're giving people something bigger than themselves to invest in.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's they respecting their character,
Hmm.
respecting their tradition, respecting their background, their cultural background, their subcultural background, their tribe background, but also makes them part of unifies them under the same umbrella or the same tree, which is a metaphor for growth and also of shades, taking protection.
Yes, I love it.
And makes it that visible. Like you said, they don't need words. They can just badges, like, like, I think I look up to, I believe the highest people are the ones who take sacrifice for their country. Like the aristocrat, German aristocrat who sacrificed his life by attempting to kill Hitler.
Yes.
And they made a movie, I'll say Valkyrie with Tom Cruise. He was not alone, but he was an aristocrat. He lived by an aristocratic knightly code. He was actually a real knight. I mean, he came from an old German family.
Wow.
And those people believe that what is most important is their values of standing up for your value, for your high values of honor and protecting the weak. He was just disgusted. He was a Nazi, of course, in the beginning.
Yeah.
But then he realized that this is awful. This is just what Hitler is doing is just awful. And he sacrificed himself. He said goodbye to his wife, and he went to the firing squad by deciding to assassinate Hitler. And he was not alone. And his friends were also German aristocrats. And I think that's really that other people don't realize that. It's people need to have that kind of character in order to create a better world. Because otherwise it's just gonna go to pieces. We're gonna there's just too much. There's got to be ethics. There's got to be a character.
Yeah, some core value, like you're saying, to hold on to and to support.
Yeah. And anyway, so I'm very happy that you're on the same page. And
yeah, I love it. It makes me wish I were back in a traditional school so I could do it.
Yeah. But also welcoming untraditional voices, but also with awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that basically addresses the standard.
Okay, great. And then did you teach another class today?
Yes, I did. I did teach another Langston Hughes poem. It was called Theme for English B.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
I loved it. And
yeah.
Unfortunately, the students were not, I don't know, they keep dropping out or they had connection problem. But at the end, I did, I think I did do what I came for. It was also about identity, what does it mean to be American? And what does it mean to go to this, all white school and your professor is white and you're supposed to write a paper and you're supposed to be true to yourself. What does it mean to be true to yourself? So again, about identity. So I still loved it, even though I had to pull teeth, as they say.
Yeah.
One student was washing dishes. He admitted in the chat box.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Betsy, wait a minute, babe. Sorry, my kid.
No, that's okay. No worries. I totally get it.
To talk to you, my kids are home. She's sick again, and I'm like, okay, just.
Oh yeah, no. I just went over a cold. My son was sick. Anyway, it's a revolving door. Yeah.
It's terrible. Okay, so whenever you are ready for me to do whatever you want me to do next, I will do it, and I'll log in to Teach Now again today just to remind myself where we're at.
Yes, thank you. I namaste sign to you.
Thank you.
And all the best to your family and your kid. Yes.
Bye, Neil.
Thank you. Bye.